gonna die for this kid?
Take a deep breath. Hold it. And lay back. What happens next?
Look it right in the eye.
That God's gonna cut you down. Tell him that God's gonna cut you down.
How's it going out there, YouTube land and social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing of a film that just came out on HBO Max a couple weeks ago, or even just a week ago. And it's a new, awesome kind of thriller film that is just a really interesting film that really kept you entertained pretty much throughout the whole film, and was an interesting take on a type of survival kind of film. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content and want to show some support or check out other things, definitely check out my social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, which I also post some cool content as well. So definitely check those out. As always, people, let's get right into this. Welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a movie review of a new film, like I said, that just got released on HBO Max in the past week or so, and is a really cool thriller that has a pretty decent ensemble cast. And that, of course, is a film called Those Who Wish Me Dead. Oh yeah, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Ooh. Ooh. Applause, people. I don't know. But anyways, so Those Who Wish Me Dead. And it's just a really interesting thriller film that had, some decent action sequences and some, decent, dialogue and so forth, but wasn't the greatest film altogether. But still was pretty entertaining-wise. Now, this film happens to be directed by a gentleman that goes by the name Taylor Sheridan. Oh yeah, Taylor Sheridan. Ooh, Taylor Sheridan. Yeah. So Taylor Sheridan, you might recognize as the director of the TV show called Yellowstone with Kevin Costner. But also he's a huge writer, and he's written quite a few movies over the years and has directed a few other movies. Now, I happen to have seen one of the films he's directed, which I really enjoyed, that I'll be talking about, but also I'll be talking about a couple films that he also wrote as well. Now, the first film I'm going to talk about is the one I've actually seen, and that's a great 2017 film with Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner called Wind River. Oh yeah, Wind River. Ooh. This is a great, crime drama action thriller, and it's just a really well done film. I really enjoyed it. I like the mystery to it. I like the thrill aspect to it. I like the whole concept of the film. And also, I just thought that, the awesome Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen worked so well together in a non-Marvel film. And I just thought they really brought great aspects to the character and gave us a really fun, interesting thriller type of film. If you haven't seen Wind River, definitely check it out, because Taylor Sheridan did a really good job of directing it, giving us a really classic thriller type of film, but with some great kind of twist, and just a really interesting story, and just a really fun and entertaining film. Now, the other films I'm going to talk about is actually two films that he actually wrote. And he didn't direct the films, but they are two interesting films that were really, great films. The second one I thought was a lot better than the first one, but both of the films were pretty good in a whole. And then, of course, is the Sicario films. Yeah, Sicario and the Sicario Day of Soledad. Oh yeah. These are, interesting films. The first one wasn't as fun as the second one. The second one was a lot better, I thought. But Taylor, I should say, did an amazing job writing these films. He gave us these really awesome kind of bad guy, good guy type of being blackmail type of films with these different, people in different parts of the government and stuff like that, along with some great twists with some really cool killers and just really great action sequences that he just wrote so beautifully and just made a really interesting, story to tell. And I just thought he did a really good job of, writing these films. And they ended up being really awesome films, especially the second one, like I said, that he wrote, and it just was written so well, and just really very authentic, very imaginative too at the same time. If you haven't seen the Sicarios, definitely check them out, people. They're really decent films, especially the second one, and they're really well written by Taylor Sheridan. But it comes to directing Those Who Wish Me Dead, I thought that he did a decent job. He gave us, a decent action thriller, kind of survival film, and it was pretty, basic, but at the same time, I still thought he did a decent job. I thought he had some good direction. I thought that he gave us some decent, CGI and some decent action sequences, along with a okay storyline that had a really interesting kind of plot, but that kind of didn't fully, I feel, evolve throughout the whole film. And just, with the kind of writing in the film, I thought some of the writing was lacking a little bit, that he provided for the film, but still, at the same time, I thought it was still a decent try and a decent entertainment value of a film. If you haven't seen this film yet, Those Who Wish Me Dead, definitely check it out for Taylor's directing. He did a pretty decent job. So like I said, this movie has a pretty decent cast that really made the film very enjoyable and gave it some really good flavor. Now the first person I'm going to talk about is the main actress herself, Miss Angelina Jolie! Oh yeah, Angelina Jolie, woo! So Angelina Jolie, of course, we know as, used to be Mrs. Pitt. We know her from such films as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We know her from Gia. We know her from Cyborg. We know her from a slew of films over the years. And she's usually pretty decent in any film she's in, and she's always enjoyable to watch. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed her in as is followed. The first one happens to be a great 1995 sci-fi action flick thriller. And that, of course, is a film called Hackers. Oh yeah, Hackers. Yeah, this is a really great film. I think this is really one of her first films that really shot her to stardom. And I just really enjoyed the film, and I thought that she did a really good job of portraying that kind of hacker character that is, opposite of Johnny Lee Miller. And I just thought that she brought a great flavor to the character and gave it an interesting twist, along with, being that kind of, underground, kind of crazy goth kind of girl that, really doesn't know what she wants, but she does know what she wants type of deal. And I just thought she brought that to life and gave us a really great interpretation. And I thought that it worked really well in the film and gave us a really entertaining film. If you haven't seen Hackers, definitely give it a roll, people. It's worth a watch, and it has a really great cast and is just a really great kind of film for its time. Now, the second film she was in that I really enjoyed her in was based off of a video game for the computer. And she, I think, is going to be always, to me, this character. And that, of course, is the film called Tomb Raider. Oh, yeah. Tomb Raider. Yeah, Tomb Raider. Now, the first two Tomb Raiders were really awesome films. I thought they did an amazing job with it. And I thought Angelina was amazing as Lara Croft. I thought she was perfect for Lara Croft. I thought she looked like her, moved like her, acted like her. I thought she was Lara Croft. She did such an amazing job with this film. And, the first Tomb Raider film was actually really awesome. I love that John Voight was in it, portraying her father. And I just thought that she brought a really great flavor and, stylization to who Lara Croft was and giving us our first live-action interpretation of her. And she just did an amazing job of being this, badass chick that just kicks butt, looks for treasures and stuff like that, and just, really, put it to the T and gave us this really amazing performance. If you haven't seen the Tomb Raider films, definitely give them a whirl, people. They're worth a watch, and Angelina was amazing in the films. Now, it comes to performance in Those Who Wish Me Dead. I thought she was her, usual Angelina Jolie self that she has been the last, several years. I thought that she did an okay job. I thought she was pretty kind of, badass kind of character in this film. I thought that she did some good job of portraying, what a person might be in acting if they've been struck by lightning or, having severe injuries that they're dealing with and stuff like that, or all of a sudden they come across what they end up coming across and, just having to deal with it. And I thought that she did a pretty decent job, and she was definitely a decent addition to the film. Definitely not one of her best roles, but still not too bad and pretty decent. So that brings me to the second actor I'm going to be talking about that was in this film. And that is none other himself, Mr. Beast himself, Mr. Nicholas Hoult. Oh yeah, Nicholas Hoult, woo! Nicholas Hoult, yeah! So we all, a lot of us probably remember Nicholas Hoult from this film with Hugh Grant, About a Boy, and, other films of the years, Jack and the Beanstalk and so forth, or Jack the Giant Slayer. And he just is a really fun actor, and pretty much anything I've seen him in, I've always enjoyed him. I thought he does a great job, and I thought that he has a really unique way of bringing his character's life, and he just does a really decent job. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed him are as follows. Now, the first one is a prequel series of an already established series where he plays the character Beast. That is Hank McCoy. And that, of course, is in the awesome films, the X-Men prequels, First Class sequels. Oh, yeah. The X-Men prequels, First Classes. Oh, yeah. So, of course, there was the 4 films that they did. Or 3, I should say, no, 4 that they did, that where, they had younger versions of the original X-Men that were portrayed by Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and so forth. And the awesome Nicholas Hoult actually got to portray Hank McCoy in his youth. And he just was so awesome in these films, from the first outing to even the last outing. You saw him evolve from, being the original Hank to, being Beast Hank. And he just did an amazing job of portraying this character. And I really enjoyed him as Hank. And I thought that he gave Hank McCoy a really great run for his money from the comic books, and giving us a, decent performance, and just giving us a really cool and first live-action presentation of Beast besides Kelsey Grammer's version. And you get to know more about Hank McCoy this way, and you get to learn more about his mutation and kind of how he becomes Beast and stuff like that. And I just thought they did a really good job of making him look like Beast and giving him a really great performance to be able to work with. I just really thought Nicholas Hoult did an amazing job in those series and those films, and just did a really fun job. Really enjoyed him as the Beast, and can't wait to see him in more. If you haven't seen the X-Men films, the prequel films like X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, or Dark Phoenix, definitely check them out, people. They're worth the watch. Now, the second film he was in that I really enjoyed him in is a zombie film that's kind of like a rom-com zombie film that has a really cool and unique twist, basically about zombies turning from zombies to humans again. And I think this is just a really cool concept. And that, of course, is a film called Warm Bodies. Oh, yeah. Warm Bodies. Yeah. Warm Bodies is so awesome. It had a great cast. And Nicholas Hoult was just really awesome as the main zombie character. And just his evolution from being a zombie to being a human again was just really awesome too. And I just thought that the film in a whole was just really fun, and Nicholas just gave it a really great front-runner presence and just made it really enjoyable. If you haven't seen Warm Bodies, definitely check it out. Nicholas Hoult was really awesome in the film. Now, it comes to his performance in Those Who Wish Me Dead. Him playing a bad guy character was something completely new that I hadn't seen him do, and I thought he did a really excellent job. I really enjoyed the characterization he brought to being an evil character. I liked how he was very straightforward and very sinister, and just really being a bad guy. And I thought he did such a great job of portraying that, and he worked really well with everyone in the film, and just worked really well off of them and bringing this character really to life, and it becoming a very you're scared of this character. You're kind of like, whoa, what the hell's up with this guy's attitude, and why is he like he is, and stuff like that. And Nicholas just did a really good job of bringing that to life. If you haven't seen Those Who Wish Me Dead yet, definitely check it out for Nicholas Hoult. He was really great in the film. So that brings me to the final actor I'm going to be talking about that was in this film. And that, of course, is Mr. Other Bad Guy himself, Mr. Aiden Gillian. Oh, yeah! Ooh, Aiden! Ooh! So you might recognize Aiden, of course, from Game of Thrones. You might recognize him for a few other things over the years. But he is just a great character actor that always is a really great bad guy, and he is perfect as a bad guy. And just always portrays bad guys so well. Now, a couple of things I really enjoyed him in are as followed. Now, the first film happens to be a John Cena film that he did right before he ended up deciding to become a full-time actor. And that, of course, is a film called 12 Rounds. Oh, yeah, 12 Rounds. And Aiden Gillian plays a really awesome bad guy in this film that is going against John Cena. And he just really brought the evilness to this character, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I loved him as the bad guy. He was just so on point and awesome in this film. And he just really gave this character such a great personality and a great just characterization that really made you feel like he really is this bad guy. And he just really was a great addition and, addition of flavor to this film, and just made it a really fun and awesome action-packed thriller type of film. And you're just rooting for John Cena to win and, destroy him, because you feel like he's so evil and crazy. And just the whole sinisterness about his plot, Aiden did such a great job of, bringing that to life and just giving us this really outstanding performance. If you haven't seen 12 Rounds, definitely check it out, people. Aiden, it was amazing in the film. So that brings me to the second film that Aiden was in. And that, of course, is a great sequel film that was in a great series based on a book. And that, of course, is The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. Oh, yeah. The Scorch Trials. Ooh. So Maze Runner Scorch Trials is, like I said, based off a book series, and Aiden Gillian plays actually another bad guy character in this film. And he is just so amazing in this film series. I really enjoyed him in the last two films because he just brought a great realness to this character. Now, he really was very sophisticated in this film versus some other roles I've seen him in. And his sophistication just, comes off saying hi or yes, or no in a regular day, because it just was so natural of how he brought it to life in these films, and you just really want to, like him, but at the same time you're like, wait, he's the bad guy, I can't like him. So at the same time, he still is evil, but you still like him. It just was a really great performance by him too, that really showed through, and even in his Game of Thrones films, and the show, portraying the character he did in that. And he just worked really well in these films too, and just did a really great job. If you haven't seen any of the Maze Runners, even Maze Runner Scorch Trial, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch because Aiden was amazing in the film. Now it comes to his portrayal in Those Who Wish Me Dead. I thought it was a pretty decent acting job. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't one of his best roles. But still, he did a great job of portraying this bad guy character, especially after the scene where he gets burned in the face and he's supposed to be, scarred for life, basically, and dealing with trying to, try to still get this kid and to stop him, and so that the word doesn't get out for his employers and stuff like that. He still was still kind of fun and just really bad. And I just really, thought he did a good job. I enjoyed him in it. And I don't think that it was his best, like I said, but still, at the same time, it was still really fun. If you haven't seen Those Who Wish Me Dead, definitely check out Aiden in this film. He was actually pretty decent, worked really well in Nicholas Hoult, and gave us a pretty decent role. So what is Those Who Wish Me Dead about? Basically, the premise of the story is as follows. So the film basically is about these fire jumpers who are out in the middle of Montana. And all of a sudden, a hocus and commotion happens in their town, where this boy all of a sudden pops up, and they basically got to find out, what's going on, why is he covered in blood, and why is he out here by himself. And it's up to Angelina Jolie to basically save him from the bad guys and to save the day. It's a really, like I said, a really decent film. It's not the greatest, but at the same time, it still was very enjoyable and very entertaining. It was definitely something that was enjoyable to watch. I'd probably watch it again down the road. I don't know if I would own it, but it still was a decent film and still an enjoyable film with the actors that were in the film. Even the boy that played the main character, he was actually pretty good in the film too. It really enjoyable too. And I thought he did a good job with portraying what he would have to portray if he was in the situation he was. Really fun film. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a whirl. It's on HBO Max now, in theaters too as well. And it's just a really, like I said, decent thriller film that was enjoyable and entertaining, but nothing of greatness. But definitely, I would suggest give it a whirl, people. It's not a bad film. And, like I said, definitely check it out, people. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. But if you do, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's right. It was, yeah. Maybe check it out. I don't know. Pretty decent film. Definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or if you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, check out my awesome links down below, either for my Patreon or for the awesome horror pack. If you go onto my Patreon, definitely it will help a guy out. Maybe, check a few things out or something, like to see bloopers or outtakes and all that kind of stuff. Definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth the watch, worth the look, and you never know, it might help a guy out. And I appreciate it if you do. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.